So I am on a salary of 2,000. So when my sister comes, I am giving my sister money out of my salary. So if I can afford 500 a month for my sister, that's what I do. But because you don't do this, when your sister comes and the husband has beaten your sister, and you look at her face and now she's crying, you take for 5,000, you take and go. It is the V8 that is going away. You see? So our businesses are feeding others, and we are not growing the business to the point where the same business will employ other people. So giving yourself a salary is key. But even this example, we saw in a case where there's even excess. Some of you are even running already in negative. If I pick your example and I do it right now, you are in the negative. And you too, you like to do show. You're already dying, and you're doing show.
The way our economic conditions face us. That is why we are involved in those things. Like the world, we have been driven by dollar rate. And then this fuel to rate. Right. So when there's an increase in fuel globally, and it comes to us, you see that we are getting problems. One, either labor agitation for higher salaries, or any of the expenses that we make increasing. So drawing your budget or getting your expenses for the whole year, sometimes it affects the business. So that is something.
Okay.
About the salaries, I think.
Let me address. So I agree with you that the dollar rate is, and I can infuse it in there. So let's assume that Hajia was buying from a supplier in dollars. Let's assume. So this is about $300, which he must convert, right? So at the time, we are now in March, in this, we must also project what will be the likely dollar rate exchange by the end of April, when we have to change the $300. Dollar rate could have hit about 5. So we can plan with this budget using what? 5. You see, automatically it will affect us in here. It will affect us in the bottom line. So we would have taken into account the fact that the dollar rate will increase. So the dollar rate has an effect on you, I agree. It's reducing how much of the excess will be available. But it must be planned for. You must plan in the business that the dollar rate in Ghana is not too, let's say, stable. And so let's even use the extreme that by end of April, dollar rate will be 6. So we'll plan that we are going to change $300 at the rate of whatever, 6. So you see, I've taken into account the dollar rate in affecting the bottom line. So it affects me of how much money I have to invest, how much money I have in terms of gifts, how much of amount I can call, let's say, salary, and how much of the increment I will do. But when we don't do this in a religious way, then we know that the dollar rate will affect us, but we don't know the exact extent of the impact. And so in budgeting, we do all this to take care of that. So, Madam, you were going to say something.
Yes, about the salaries.
Yes.
Yeah, some time ago, I started paying myself.
Good.
And that time I had 5 workers, and I was paying them too.
Right.
But I realized that whenever the business is not good, at the end of the month, you can't pay.
Good.
It's just a little. So it used to be on and off. Later, I just decided to leave. Right. Yeah, so I don't know if there's maybe some advice about it.
So when you put yourself under a salary, it may not mean the money will come to you on a monthly basis. But there's a record to show that the business owes you this amount. Yes. And that the business performance also take care of your time and energies. And so every month we put it there, but you may not take it to become as if you are giving a business a loan. Then I find that if you don't do so, tomorrow Nana will come and say, I want to be an investor in your business. And you need to get back all these arrears of your salary that you have not taken. If you don't show it anywhere in the books, and you take it, I will say you are becoming a greedy person. Now that you are seeing money, you are bringing in all the cost that is not even there. So the whole idea is to say you are giving your salary as a loan to your business. You can even charge interest. with the view that the business will grow. And when the business grow and you begin to take the money, your own staff will not even be cursing you. Look at Madam. Now that the money has come in, he's buying new car, he's now making demands. But they don't know how many years you have refused to take a salary because you don't have the income. So that your own staff will not be competing with you. Because now there's so much, business and contract. Madam lifestyle has changed. It's not a change. Madam is now saying now business is doing well and I can recoup all my earned salary. So it becomes, and then two, it has the tax benefits. If you don't take the salary, the tax man will also find a tax for you to pay based on the one. So take it and let the business record, let's say, a loss. So you don't pay a tax at all. So that one too has its own place, right? So that's the whole idea of having a budget, and that needs to be done. So budget has several benefits. So when you have a budget, it will justify your expenditure. So now when you are spending, you know how to spend. It will affect how you plan the business, as we saw, your revenue. It can allow you to assess performance. So it's important that we budget and we do it in an effective way. So we must budget for our expenses. We budget for even production. So as we saw, it was doing 50 curtains. So that's what it's about, production. What must he put in place to ensure that she can get that 50? She says she's using 2 bags to get 50 curtains. It means that she must have an eye on the 2 bags so that the boys who are working for her will not be picking some of the seeds home. So you put in place the security measures to ensure that when people are leaving, they don't have in their bags some of the seeds. Because if they take some of the seeds from the bag, it means the 2 bags will be there, but can't give you the 50 curtains. It means you must open a 3rd bag. So when you budget in that way, it affects you to ensure that you're even checking. And we saw also about the revenue. Then about the cash. When you budget, now the excess money you have as well, you'll be able to use the money, you'll be able to decide on how to use the money. So for some of you, you can even make more money in the business, but because you don't let's say budget. So you have all your 100,000 Ghana cedi sitting in a bank account at the bank with any no interest. But now that you budget, I have this excess money. Why do I leave it in the bank without any interest? So why won't I buy a treasury bill? Why won't I buy a fixed deposit? So you begin to channel your money. Oh, if I have 100,000, then why won't I buy this land that my neighbor is selling? Or then why won't I have a warehouse in order to buy and stock this material so that I have more to sell? So you begin to think of your life in that way. And then why won't I even invest in capital expenditure? Why won't I buy a building? Why won't I buy a car? Why won't I buy a laptop? Why won't I buy a CCTV? So as a businessman, it set in motion the desire to plan. Why won't I buy a tractor, a bulldozer? You begin to think of how best to do the business. So that's what happens. Then in budgeting as well, you may also be thinking of either you budget in a centralized way or in a decentralized way. So for most of us, because it's just one business, you yourself can do the budget. But as the business, let's say, grows and you have branches in regional capitals, you can allow the regions to budget on their own. Or you can have a central place where you do the budget, you agree, and they will go and then implement. So let it be a certain culture that you have. My second topic is what are the things you need to have when it comes to the budgeting. When you are budgeting, always have a ceiling. So for all these items you have here, give it, let's say, a cap. How much do you want to pay on electricity, let's say a month? You can say, I want to cap my electricity at the point of 80 Ghana, a month, which will force all of us to be within. If you are doing 80 Ghana cedi a month, it means that when I'm leaving the office for lunch, I'll put my air conditioning off. Because we are all helping the situation to make sure our budget for electricity is 80. Or else you have a staff who will come and put on air conditioning at 6 a.m. We'll go and eat a wache in the market. 2 hours is eating and chatting, and the air conditioning is still on. and you will come and pay. So we must begin to put a cap on ourselves, because you really have a plan to make sure you succeed in life. So run a business in that way. You can even put a ceiling, the minimum sales you want to make in the shop. Some of you are not making the money because your shop attendants are simply rude. There are times when you go and park your car, Nana big man sits in his car. Your attendant have seen Nana, but they want him to get out from his car and enter the shop. But this man can sit in his car in front of your shop, and the girl is moving from, oh, sir, what can I do for you? Oh, I want to buy, let's say, water. Oh, we have several water in there. Vortic is 2 Ghana. There's a new water which is about 1 Ghana. If you buy the 2, it's good. This man will be forced to buy. He came to buy only 1. But because you are thinking of revenue, you begin to do things in a way. So, yesterday when we arrived, I went to a shop around there. I was combing the place alone. There were 3 girls in the shop who were talking. None of them offered to say, oh, sir, what do you want to buy? They didn't care. I entered the shop. Nobody greeted me. I was going around the shelf looking for something. I was not even sure what I was going to buy. I've come here in Tamale. I wasn't sure what I wanted to eat. So I just entered the shop. And those girls could have convinced me to buy things I don't even need at all. Right? And so if you have a limit of the minimum sales they must make, then there's a certain attitude they must exhibit in the shops to make sure they achieve. And so, Nana,
you see, he had a ceiling, of course, and he also has some expectations of revenue. Sometimes the business person should also put themselves in the place of their employees.
Good.
How do you encourage them to do better?
Good.
So once you've done a threshold of what you normally accumulate as revenue, then you can entice them that if we exceed X,
Good.
the additional that comes in, I can share a percentage with you.
Perfect.
You see, in Ghana, we believe it's all mine and I have to keep everything. 100% of zero.
Right.
But if you entice them that we can share, profit sharing, or maybe Christmas time, I can give you additional bonus. It encourages them because capacity building training costs money. And you may not be able to afford to train all of them. But you want to encourage them to go out of their way. When you see a client going to next door, ask them, we have better things. Do something that will attract the attention of the client or the customer or potential customer to come to your shop.
Right.
So those are certain things that as business people, we don't do because we are busy doing other things or chatting on the phone. And the guy passes you by without you knowing that this is a potential client that could have spent about 500 Ghana within the next 10 minutes. So it's very important that we encourage our staff to do that.
And now I will give examples. When you go to Dubai to buy from a shop, you'll be amazed that the workers in the shop are fighting over you. What am I saying? Because as a shop attendant, I've been told to sell, let's say, 20-inch TV. Even in 20-inch TV, there are about 10 different brands, Philip and Co. So when you enter the shop in Dubai, you have shop attendant, about 5. All of them are rushing at you and telling you, oh, this brand is not good, mine is better. In the same shop. This one is from China. This one is UK. Because the more he sells, they give you a commission. So you are on a minimum salary. And your top-up is the sales. So there's performance-induced compensation. So I know that if I sell 10, let's say, TVs in a month, and it's at 1,000, that's about 10,000. I'll get 5% of 10,000. So the difference between my salary and your salary is how much sales I make. I'll be aggressive in any shop. Because then you and I are on 200 a month. But anything I sell above 10,000, I make 5%. Master, when I come to shop, it will be easy for a year. Any customer that come, I'll be rushed to approach the customer and be the one lead. And so when they're leading you in the shop, they lead you to where their things are. they make sure they convince you to buy. And that's something that we can introduce. And you find it anywhere. You find it in big shops out there. They convince you to buy, and you can begin to introduce these things in your shop here. To say you are on 150 a month. But if you sell above 10 boxes, I will give you five Ghana cedi per in a box to motivate people to do their work. So we thank Nana for that idea. Yes, sir.
Another thing, what is happening, what is bothering us in Ghana is we don't normally consider or measure productivity when in terms of businesses. You see, the law of productivity affects us in either privately or publicly. I mean, the public sector behavior towards productivity is very low, not considering the local, the private sector. So these are the causes of most of our business not running well. The productivity is very low from the public sector and then the private sector. So in order to achieve better businesses, I'm sure the productivity should be very considered. Because if you are employed and then the workers do very well to raise the image of the factory, then there's no need for us to quarrel or have problems with these things. It's the productivity that is very low, all corners of the economy.
Yeah, performance evaluation is critical. That is what is going to show productivity. But as I said, you one person, you have employees who can be your sales agents everywhere. This is my first time in this hotel. I've been coming to Tamale since 2005. I've held workshops about not less than 25 times. I never heard about this hotel. So when they told me we were coming here, I asked, do they have rooms that I can sleep in? But they've been here since 2002. I just found out. So that means what? They're not doing good promo. They don't have agents. Maybe they advertise in Tamale. But I'm coming from Accra to do a workshop. So there's no name in Accra that can tell me that I have to come to this bash or what they call it. So your employees are employees that you pay them. Productivity had two different heads. One, performance at home,